Hey, what's going on, Luke here? And as of late, we've been going back onto Rugby League Live 3. Yes, you heard that right. Rugby League Live 3. Back from 2015. I know there was updates to 2016, but the game came out in 2015, and all the rosters are from 2015. So it is quite old at this point. 6 years old. And obviously in 6 years, a lot's going to happen, especially in the Rugby League world. I mean, a lot of the superstars in today's game probably were in under 20s at this point. And that is something that I'll definitely take a look at. I'll go and take a look at some of the biggest superstars in 2021 and see what they were rated in 2015. But for this video, we're going to be looking at the actual superstars from 2015 and seeing what they're rated and see how their career played out. I'm sure with any game, especially sports games, but it's super easy to go into the games and look at old rosters and look at their overall and say, how the hell were they rated that high? But you got to remember, this is what it was in 2015. Perfect example, without even taking a look at it, I know Darius Boyd is going to be rated quite high, and within a couple of years, he was barely a first grader, and it's just how far it slipped. Anthony Milford is probably another one. Around the time, they were actual genuine superstars of the game, and today, as I'm recording this video, Anthony Milford is in jail, and Darius Boyd had one of the saddest, quickest declines into retirement. So it just shows you how fast things can change. Now, we're just about to jump onto Rugby League Live 4, but before we do so, I just want to take the time to say, if you do happen to enjoy this video, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Also, make sure to use the notification bell. Don't rely on the sub box. Just use the notification bell and never miss any of my videos. Also, give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke and YT for the most part. My Facebook is Mr. Luke, but everything else is Mr. Luke and YT. So go ahead, give me a follow, give me an ad, do all that sort of stuff. Now we can jump on to Rugby League Live 3. I keep going to say Rugby League Live 4, but it's Rugby League Live 3. So here we are in Rugby League Live 3. The menu is looking nice and clean. I actually do like these ones. I do like Rugby League Live 4s, but these ones are quite good. I think I mentioned that in yesterday's video, but I'm pretty sure there's no way for me to actually find, say, like the top 20 players. So we're just going to go through every individual club in the NRL and take a look at some of their ratings and just figure out who's high and who's low and sort of just go from there. So we're going to go into the fan hub. We're going to go into players. I'm going to official 2015 players. Let's start with the Bulldogs. They're the first players. Actually, no, let's start with the Broncos. Let's go alphabetical order. So here we have it. Corey Parker is the highest rated player for the Broncos. Justin Hodges, Ben Hunt, McCullough, Milford. Okay, you can see a lot of these players, even in the most recent years, probably weren't that great. Ben Hunt, I would say, is pretty spot on. About an 88 rated, although halfback, hooker, either or, but he definitely is a great player. McCullough, you probably chuck him maybe low 80s, you'd say. Anthony Milford, don't even know where you chuck him, but the rest of them are sort of retired, and that's probably what we're going to find a lot in this video. A lot of players who are retired. Let's take a look at some of their lower rated ones. Josh Mcguire, way too high. Who else is there? Jared Waller's probably about right now. Got Dal Copley there, who's also playing. Daniel Vero in the WWE at the moment. Corey Oates, 79 rated. Probably at some points at his peak could have been rated super high, but instead 79. Probably not that far off it these days, but that's the Broncos. Now into my Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Brett Morris, highest rated player. That's probably about right. Jimmy Graham there. James Graham, 88 rated. You got Reynolds, you got Hawkinson, 88, 87, very high. Josh Morris, probably about right at the time. Looking at the rest of them, like Michael Leach, 86. He was never an 86. He dead set was never an 86. Moses Mbine, 85. It's pretty high considering where he is now. Look at the rest of the guys. You can't really argue too much with a lot of these ratings. You got Adam Elliott there, who's a 69 at the moment. Sean Lane, another one, who's been one of the stars for Manly and the Eels over the last couple of years. Now to the Canberra Raiders. I can't even remember who was in their side at this point, but I'm pretty sure they're about a top 4 side. You got Josh Hodgson at 90 rated. Up until probably last year, you'd probably say that's pretty spot on. This year, maybe not so much, but he's definitely been up there in terms of the top 3 hookers in the game. Jared Croker, 88, was never an 88, let's be real. Jack White, an 88 rated fullback. That is crazy. Josh Papali'i, second rower there, plays prop now. He's at 87 rated. Cecil Wong at 87 was never there. Blake Austin, same. Shannon Boyd at 86, that's an interesting one. Edric Lee. I will say, this is the side that I'm seeing a lot of players who are still playing who would be nowhere near their actual rating. Let's take a look at the other end of it. Who are some of the lower rated players? Let's see if there's anyone. Mitch Barnett, 73 rated, being one of the better players for the Knights. You also have Tavita Pengai Jr. there as well at 75 rated. So there's a few players there a little bit iffy, but let's move on to the next one. So here we have it, the Cowboys actually won it the year the game came out. We've got Jonathan Thurston, 95 rated. Pretty sure he's the highest rated player. 95, I think Cameron Smith might be 94, but 95, that is super high. And to be fair, that's pretty spot on for Jonathan Thurston. Matt Scott, 90 rated for a prop. I'd say that's pretty spot on too at the time. Mark Morgan was killing it that year. Lachlan Coote, don't know if he was an 87. Granville, 87, don't know. He's pretty good, but don't know about an 87. The rest of them, Jason Tamalalo, an 87 rated. I think when Rugby League Live 4 came out, I think he was higher than that for sure. But this was sort of before he was winning all the Dally M's and stuff. So interesting to see what he was rated there. You got Kyle Felt, who's still playing right now. A lot of guys in the Cowboy side are still around. You got Ethan Lowe, who's only just retired. Tony Winterstein as well. Justin O'Neill is still on the current side, 82. Who else is here? We got John Asiata, 71, just signed with the Bulldogs. Spent a lot of years at the Cowboys. But yeah, it's crazy to think how far the Cowboys have gone downhill. And also, their side isn't that bad. And there's a lot of guys who are still on the side. Like I said, Granville's still there. Tamalolo's still there. Michael Morgan just left. And they're not doing very well. Now to the Gold Coast Titans, who made the 8 this year, but haven't made the 8 for a long time, especially not during these years. Aiden Caesar, their best player. Don't know if that's fitting. 88 rated seems very high. Seems like all of the halves just seem to be rated super high. But Greg Bird, 87 for him. That was probably about right at the time. Daniel Mortimer, 86. What is going on? Josh Hoffman, an 86 rated center. Dude was a makeshift center at best. At best. You got Nate Miles there, Will Zillman. Okay, these are pretty whack, these ratings. I'm not sure what's going on here. Who else is here? We have Ignatius Pass here. You got Jamal Fogarty in the lineup, funnily enough, as a fullback. That's interesting, considering he's a halfback now. Lachlan Burr's in the NRL now. Yeah, look, these ratings are pretty whack. Now onto Manly. I've actually already used Manly. I've gone through their ratings. These are actually quite interesting because you've got 2 halfbacks in the side, Kieran Foran, Daly Cherry Evans. I know Kieran Foran is the 5'8" at the moment, but I think when the game came out, when they updated it with the 2016 rosters, I'm pretty sure he's at the Eels, so that's why he's a halfback. You got 91 and 91. Obviously, Cherry Evans ended up the better player by far. Foran just so many injuries. It just ruined his career. Obviously, went to the Eels, ended up at the Warriors, ended up at the Bulldogs. Hasn't been a great couple of years, but he's found his form again at Manly. Brett Stewart there, 89. Jamie Lyon. Jamie Lyon probably could have been rated. Actually, no, it's pretty fitting for him. Who we got? Peter Hickory, 85. Don't know if he was ever an 85. Chase Blair, definitely not an 84. Gutherson, King Gutho, 83 winger. Obviously, his hair looks a little bit different. Face looks a little bit different. That's also another thing to note. Just the player models in this game, not that great, and they really relied on the fan hub. So, yeah, that's going to be very interesting. Jamie Buehler, 82. Josh Starling there. Jake Trebojevic, that's who I wanted to see. Jake Trebojevic, Jake could see. Pretty sure he was sort of in first grade, so in and out of first grade at the time when this game came out. Same with Tom Trebojevic, 79 rated. Actually does look kind of like him compared to some of these player models. 79 rated though, and a winger on the game. So that is quite interesting considering he's probably the best player in the world at the moment. And here he is as a 79 rated, not even better than Jake, and funnily enough, Jake as well, an 80 rated. It seems laughable now, but it's crazy to see how far they've come. From Manly to Melbourne, possibly the grand finalists. Let's take a look who's in this side. 94, 92, 91, 90. That is a hell of a side. That is a super strong side. They did make the grand final in 2015, and they did in 2016. In fact, they made most of the grand finals over these years. But 94 for Cameron Smith, fitting. 92 for Cooper Cron, fitting. Billy Slater, 91, fitting. Jesse Bromwich, maybe a bit higher. Bull Chambers, 88, yeah. Corey Betty, no way in hell was he an 88 rated. Sahu Harris, one of the best second rows in the game. Probably one of the best second rows on this game too. Proctor there, Hinchcliffe, Blake Green. I'd say this is pretty fitting. You got Dale Finucane, 81 rated, now one of the best forwards in the game. Same as Kenny Bromwich, 2 very, very good players. And here you have Money Munster, Cameron Munster, before he was the superstar. I think next year might have been his breakout year. 2016 was the breakout year for him. I think he ended up playing fullback in the place of Billy Slater when he was injured. But at this point, he was just a youngster. You also got Heimel Hunt there. Christian Welch, 72 rated. He is definitely better than 72 at this point. You also got Vunivalu there as well. I think he replaced Corabetti. So Corabetti was 88. They had Vunivalu as 67. And the next year, Vunivalu would come in, I'm pretty sure. Maybe a couple of years. Anyways, an absolutely fantastic side. Let's move on to the next. The Newcastle Knights, the wooden spoons from that year. They got Dane Gagai, who funnily enough is going back to the Knights, but he's a fullback in this game. Hasn't played fullback as far as I'm aware of since then, so it is fitting that he's going back to the Knights, but he is 87 rated, the highest rated player. Jared Martin, Drugs Van, Tarek Sim at the Dragons. Would actually be a pretty decent signing for them these days, but you got Jeremy Smith, Tyron Roberts, both got a lot of players who are not at the club, but I know that he's going to be a couple players later on. You've Corbin Sims, who's still, actually he's not in the NRL anymore. I was going to say he was the brother. Who else do we've got? We've got Stockwell's out. You got all the Mataudia brothers. Remember when they were hyped up? Sione especially. You got Jake Mamo in the Super League, going pretty well. Danny Levi was at the Broncos most recently. Got the Rostock, 73. Lachlan Fitzgibbon is still in the NRL side. Up until his injuries, was a consistent starter for them. And also, I just went straight past him. Oh, you got Joseph Tapani, who's at the Raiders, a great player. Where are they? Where are they? Maybe they're not even in here. I was playing with the 2016 side, and both of the Safidi boys were there, and they're like 68 rated or something. I need to find them. So just going into the 2016 side, and here's Daniel, here's Jacob Safidi. You also got Josh King there as well. But look, 68 rated, it's funny to think how quick they would rise. And I'm pretty sure they were playing in 2015, 2016. They're just coming off the bench, making sporadic sporadic appearances because the Knights suck, so they were getting opportunities. They were just the ones who stuck in the side, him and Fitzgibbon and a few others. But if you ever think of the Knights are underachieving, go back to 2015 and 2016 and actually look at how far they've come. Now back to the 2015 rosters, we have the Parramatta Eels, who is in here. Nathan Beats, 89 rated, their highest rated player. That is ridiculous. We have Corey Norman at 86, that is ridiculous. Semin Raja could probably be rated higher. He was that good. Chris Sando, 86, ridiculous. Wapawadi, 85, ridiculous. These are crazy. Junior Paulo, 85. That's about right for him, maybe a little bit higher. He sort of just fluctuated around the 85, 86, 87 sort of rating for a long time now. So it's crazy to see that he's an 85 rated back then. And you could probably argue he's an 85 rated right now. So he's probably one of the ones who's actually been consistent, but hasn't been super old or super young or anything. The rest of them, though, going through them, Anthony Watman there, 83. John Flower, 82. Don't think he was ever an 82. Moroa currently at the Storm. Got Takarangi, 81. Daniel Alvaro was decent for them for a while. Ryan Madison at the Parramatta Eels. Obviously ended up at the Sydney Roosters. Went to the West Tigers. Ended up back at the Parramatta Eels. A 5'8" in this guy. A 5'8" in this game, definitely not a 5'8" now. Actually, barely even a first grader these days. And that's not a knock on his actual ability, that's more so they just don't pick him. But you can see him there, 78 rated. It's crazy to see how far his career has gone, considering all the clubs, and he's ended up back at the same club that he is on this game, in a complete different position. Oh, here's another one. We got Tui Kamika actually at the Storm right now. He's actually been going quite good for them. So there's another one. Now moving on to the Penrith Panthers. This is going to be a good one, because I think there's going to be a lot of players who might have been on the verge of making their NRL debut. I'm not sure who was actually in the lineup though in 2015, apart from maybe like Josh Mann or Matt Moylan. See, Matt Moylan's their best player. Same as Seguiaro, Jamie Soward, all 89 rated. I don't know, it's probably fitting at the time. They were going quite well. This is just after the 2014 season where they got a top 4 finish. Lewis Brown, never an 87 rated player, let's get real. Josh Mansell, 87. Jamal Idris. Bryce Cartwright, 85 rated. Got Abby Coruscant as well. He's ended up back at Penrith, 85 rated. That's probably a little bit low for him. Bryce Cartwright, though, 85 rated. He had so much potential and just hasn't reached it. Got Tenny Selesniak, left for the Bulldogs, ended up at the Warriors, 85 rated. Very high for him. Elijah Taylor is out of the league. Isaac Jones, Ice from KTR, 83 rated he was. Got David Simmons. Adam Docker, sad story for him. Murdoch Masilla at the Warriors now. Isaiah Yo, the current club captain, is a second rower, 81 rated. At the time, I think he was sort of verging on a second rower and a center, and now he finds himself at lock. You got Regan Campbell-Gillard, one of the best props in the game. Got George Jennings, Wonga Blake as well. Got a lot of good players who just aren't good in the game. Interesting to know that there is no Nathan Cleary, so it must have been next year that he came on, 2016, 2017, I can't remember when he actually debuted. And now we move on to the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks, who's in their lineup. This is not the year that they won it, but a lot of the ratings I think will be from 2016 as well. So you got Paul Gallen and Michael Ennis, 89 and 88. Pretty fitting for them. Wade Graham as well, one of the best second rounds in the game. It's a shame what's really happened with his career the last couple of years. Andrew Feeder, same boat as Wade Graham. A lot of injuries that caught up to him. Michael Gordon in a lot of trouble as of late. 86 rated though. Don't really think he was ever an 86 rated. We got Luke Lewis there, Nathan Gardner. Some crazy ratings here. Carl Stanley, very sad for him. Benny Barber, 82. Crazy to think he was an 82 rated, considering literally a couple years beforehand he would have been like a 93 rated. And then by the time this game came out, 82. Who else have they got? Jack Bird, a young Jack Bird, 80 rated. Riccatelli won a premiership with him. Anyone else? There's no one else really there, but some decent little players, some weird ratings though. And also David Fafita, that is Andrew Fafita's twin brother in the Super League, not the David Fafita we know. Now moving on to the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they had a gun side back in the day. 91 for Greg Inglis, 91 for Isaac Luke, maybe a little bit too high for Isaac Luke, but Greg Inglis, 91, I can see that. Adam Reynolds, 90 rated. George Burgess, Glenn Stewart, crazy to think that he was playing at the Rabbitohs. I keep forgetting that. I think I might have just erased that from my mind because it just feels weird to see. You got Dylan Walker there as a 5'8", 87 rated. Don't think he ever played 5'8" for the Rabbitohs. Maybe a couple of games here and there. You got Luke Keary as well when he was still a Rabbitoh. Alex Johnston, an 86 rated winger. Actually probably pretty fitting for him right now. Maybe not so much at the time. You got Tom Burgess, John Sutton. They actually have a pretty decent side here. I know they had a good side, but just going through a lot of their ratings, actually quite fitting. Is anyone else? Cody Walker, 74 rated. You also got Scott Sorensen. He's playing at Penrith at the moment, but Cody Walker is the big one. 74 rated. I wonder what he'd be rated these days. Probably like 88, 89, and here he is at 74. And it wasn't even like he was a youngster either. He just couldn't get an opportunity. Finally got his opportunity. You got Kosevsky, who's at Manly as well. So there's a couple of players who have gone on to bigger and better things. So we've only got a couple teams left. Looking at the Dragons, I think they had a decent side, but once again, they'll never crack in the top 4 or anything. You got Dugan there, the highest rated, 90 rated. Back in the day, 2015, 2016 was peak Dugan. 90 rated was probably fitting for him. I don't know if he ever was really 90 rated, but that was when the hype was the biggest for him. Benji Marshall, 89 rated. Still going around the NRL somehow. Jason Nightingale, Gareth Widdop, Trent Merrin. It's weird looking at a lot of these ratings because they were very hyped up. But in hindsight, looking back, you can probably look at, say like Trent Merrin and be like, probably was never an 87 rated. Joel Thompson, definitely never an 87 rated. Tyson Frizzell, though, is probably their best player out of all of these guys. He's only an 85 rated. Also, I would say that's probably one of the better player models too. But looking at the rest of the side, Jack DeBellin, 82, obviously ended up playing for New South Wales. Who else is there? Ewan Aiken, 79 rated at the time. You got a young Drew Hutchison, probably before all the injuries hit him, before he went overseas. Now he finds himself at the Roosters, played in the finals, playing pretty well as well. The rest of the sides, though, like Marketo, I've kind of heard of him. Oh, here we go. This is what we're looking for. Here are the hidden gems. Matt Duffy signed with the Bulldogs next year, but here he is as a 67 rated before it even cracked NRL. Luciano Leilua as well. Adam Fanua-Blake. Sele plays for the Rabbitohs as well. You got Adam Fanua-Blake, 59 rated. He's probably like an 86, 87, 88 even rated player these days. You got Leilua, who would be in the mid-80s as well. Matt Duffy, you can argue he was in the 80s. There's some really good players who are super young at this point. Now into the Sydney Roosters, who is in their side. I feel like a lot of players will still be here. I think I looked at them the other day. So Mitchell Pearce is there. James Maloney is there. Both of them left pretty quick. Jake Friend just retired. Blake Ferguson at the Eels, an 88 rated. Definitely not that anymore, but at the time he was killing it. I thought he was killing it on the wing, I'm pretty sure. Aiden Guerra, Michael Jennings, who's suspended at the moment. Kenny Dow. Most of these guys who have left, they're just pretty much retired at the moment. So Rasul Asashek, he was a big loss at the time. 87 rated. I think he was about 87 rated in Rugby League Live 4 as well. You got Toops, Daniel Tupou there, who's still at the club. Same with Rhea Hargraves. Weak corner, just retired this year. Dylan Napa, Dylan, 86. Big Puppy. Definitely is not an 86 these days, that's for sure. Isaac Liu still at the club. Takiao still at the club. Mitchell Orbison retired last year. Miles been gone for a while. There's a lot of players who are still at the club in this side, and a lot of the ratings are pretty spot on, to be honest with you. Looking at the rest of them, there's not really anyone. I think Tane Milner's played a little bit. Sui Matangi's played a little bit for other clubs. The rest of them haven't really done too much outside of the Roosters. And moving on to the last two sides, the first one is the Warriors. 91 for Sean Johnson. That's probably right at the time. Hasn't really gone on with it due to injuries for the most part. Ended up at the Sharks, going back to the Warriors. So it's funny, there's been a couple players. I'm seeing them on here at one club, and I know in real life they've moved to a couple clubs and they've ended up back at the same club. Sean Johnson is one of them. You got Mandolino there, 87 rated. He had a pretty quick decline. Chad Townsend ended up back at the Warriors this year, although be it just for a couple games, but he did end up back there. Ben Henry, he was a player who had a lot of injuries. Conrad Connie Hurrell, one of the favourite players in the NRL for quite a while. I think he's in the Super League now. Kemba Marlaw, 77 rated. Got Raymond Fatala Mariner. I know the Bulldogs tried so hard to get him, eventually got him, and they wouldn't play him for ages. We got Sam Lasoni there as well. He's at the Titans, I'm pretty sure. He's at some club. You got Lamape, I think he might be playing in rugby. I think he might even be an All Black. I'm not sure, but Lamape's there. Pretty sure he's gone on to bigger and better things. Also worth noting, Sam Tompkins. What a flop that ended up being. Paid big money for him, paid a big transfer fee for him. Actually, the player model's pretty good for him, but 87 rated. Never really hit the heights of an 87 rated player in the NRL. I think he's still doing okay in the Super League, but I think that's always going to be remembered for not doing well with Warriors. Now onto the last team, the West Tigers. They're failing then, they're failing now. Let's take a look at their lineup. Robbie Farah there. James Tedesco, you would definitely say James Tedesco is the best player currently out of all these guys. Robbie Farah, 90 rated player. Probably fitting for at the time, although I'd say he was on the decline when this game came out, so maybe 90's a little bit too high. But James Tedesco there, 88. Right now, you probably argue he's like a 94, 95. He's been that good the last couple of years. Aaron Woods, low 80s these days. Marty Tapau, about an 86. That's pretty fitting. Got Luke Brooks, 85. Yeah, definitely on 85. Pat Richards. Curtis Sirinen, a second row there. I thought he might have been a 5'8", but he'd be second row there. You got Chris Lawrence in the second row as well. Tim Simona, 4 from grace for him. Not even in the NRL anymore. David Offlumen, 82 rated. That's probably pretty fitting. You could maybe put him a little bit higher. But the rest of the guys, Matt Lodge obviously ended up at the Broncos. Seeing Manafani. Mitchell Moses, 78 rated. That's one of the finds. That's what I'm looking for. Mitchell Moses, he ended up being way better. Obviously, probably about an 88 or something these days, but there's his days at the Tigers. I will say though, you hear so much about the Tigers and, oh well, they lost all these players. But going through this lineup, apart from Mitchell Moses and James Tedesco, maybe even Martin Tapau, but Aaron Woods didn't end up any good. Robbie Farah obviously retired in a couple of years. Luke Brooks they kept and hasn't really done anything. A couple of old guys in there. Curtis Sirinen ended up doing pretty well for Manly, but it took a couple of years. They haven't really lost too many players according to the game. So maybe it's a little bit overstated, but those are all of the sides you can see. I've gone through all of them. Hopefully you guys did enjoy a look back at Rugby League Live 3 and a look at all of the rosters and seeing where players have come from and where they've gone on to in their career. So like I said, hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, go ahead and smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Also make sure to use the notification bell. Don't miss any of my videos. Don't rely on the sub boxes. Use the notification bell. Also give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke and YT for the most part. My Facebook is Mr. Luke, but everything else, including TikTok, including Snapchat, is Mr. Luke and YT. So go ahead, give me a follow, give me an ad, do all that sort of stuff, and stay tuned for more content on the channel. We're getting closer and closer to the grand final, so there's plenty of stuff to upload. So stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next one. See yous.